Welcome to the blog this week, and isn't it good to know that we're finally starting to move out of the strict protocols that we have with the COVID-19 pandemic. What have we had in the last week? We've had the regionalisation or the boundaries removed. We're now having owners in numbers and patrons back on course. Naturally, we have to be observant of our social distancing and we must look after our hygiene. The clubs have gone to many lengths to make sure that they comply with government orders. So respectfully, please help them and follow those orders. As I say, social distancing is the key to all the strategies of government. Hygiene, of course, is something we should practice all the time. So in the coming weeks, as we hopefully ease more of these restrictions, get rid of the masks out of the stables, that would be fantastic. Let's do it together and let's move on. During the past week, of course, we've seen the final rounds of the Breeders' Challenge 2-year-old series, and what a great set of semi-finals, or two semi-finals, we'll be seeing there. The horses are numbered in order of entry, but it's extremely important that trainers note that they must nominate their horses for the semi-finals, which close at 9:30 a.m. next Tuesday, as Monday is a public holiday. The second round of 3-year-old heats commences this afternoon at Wagga and tonight at Newcastle. Next week, heats will be conducted at Tabcorp Park Menangle and Gold Crown Paceway Bathurst. Also next week, we will finalise the details for the barrier draws for the finals. Harness Racing New South Wales will be hosting owners of the horses in the finals at Tabcorp Park Menangle on October 24 for both the finals of the Breeders' Challenge and the Trots New South Wales. But due to COVID-19 restrictions, this function will be limited compared to normal years. Most importantly, I say once again, trainers, please don't forget to nominate your horses if you intend going around in the semi-finals. We don't want you missing that opportunity and being extremely disappointed. Yes, both for you and the owners of these fine horses. Some owners would have received in their email box a survey from Harness Racing New South Wales. Why I say some, we don't have the email addresses of every owner who's raced a horse in New South Wales during this past 12 months. The survey is a pretty simple survey, 2 questions only, and what it is in respect of is the prize money differentiation between A and B category meetings. This survey will run for the next 10 days, so I strongly encourage owners, have your say, give us your opinion so that we've got something to lead us forward with when we come to the prize money differentiation, if any, in future race meetings. As always, there were plenty of highlights of the week when we go racing in New South Wales. However, one of the lowlights perhaps was the loss of the meeting at Wagga last Friday afternoon. The Wagga meeting was postponed once again due to the unsuitable track surface. Whilst the issues have been identified, the staging of the rectification work is still being assessed, but hopefully works will commence this month. At Newcastle on Friday night, Mitch and Guy Chappell were the local heroes, winning heats of the 2-year-old Breeders' Challenge with Rockley Ruler and La Cabeza Gem. The other 2 heats went to Pantaloon, Craig Cross and Bravica, Blake Fitzpatrick. At Tabcorp Park Menangle on Saturday night, Peter Hansen landed a double with Mac Da Vinci, driven by Blake Fitzpatrick, and I'm Feeling Fiery, driven by Jack Trainer. Wins also to country horses Atomic Red, Stephen Mitch Turnbull and Armour the Gun, Brad Hewitt, were welcomed. Craig Cross and Luke McCarthy landed a treble. Father and son combination, Stan and Nathan Townsend, landed a double at Parks on Sunday with Cullen's Maori for legendary owner Jim Cassidy and Bo Yang for new owners to Harness Racing, Warwick Edgerton, Cameron Standen and Ashley McMahon. The postponed Wagga meeting on Sunday night saw local filly Sasha for Norm Jerrick and Adam Richardson and Colt Stravinsky for James McPherson win the heats of the Breeders' Challenge. Stravinsky set a new 2-year-old track record with a mile rate of 1:54.2, demonstrating how great the track can be under the right weather conditions. Michael Hawke was the King of Canberra on Monday night, training 3 winners in Crime Time, Crime Don't Pay and The Talk, all perfectly driven by his daughter Melissa. The 3 Breeders' Challenge heats at Menangle on Tuesday were taken out by Craig Cross trainer and Luke McCarthy driver with Electric Eye, Soho Amalfi and Barroom Banter. These wins may have been overshadowed by Brad Hewitt's 2-year-old filly Armour Renegade, which recorded a mile rate of 1:52, winning against older horses. The filly will now move on to the Breeders' Challenge semi-finals, having won a heat at Penrith. Trevor White and Peter McRae were the stars at Leeton on Tuesday night, landing a double with Western Style and Ab Fab. At Bathurst on Wednesday night, the final heats of the 2-year-old Breeders' Challenge were conducted, with wins going to Jay Bracken, Paul Fitzpatrick and Sean Grayling, Merrywood Lynn, Wayne Dimmick and Jack Trainer, and St Julian, Steve and Mitch Turnbull. To close the week, last night at Penrith, the Fitzpatrick family had a great night, with Gavin driving a treble with Rick O'Shea, JOK and High in Auckland, whilst father Paul and brother Blake had training doubles. Josh Gallagher also had a double at Penrith last night. As we move forward into next season commencing from January 1, a little change to the trialling of 2-year-olds has been acted upon by Harness Racing Australia and the States. Trainers can now trial 2-year-olds from October 1. That is horses which will formally turn 2 by the new racing season. These are the horses that currently aren't racing. Club Menangle this week confirmed the drivers for the JC Caffin Plate, which is part of now the KARI Indigenous series. Why I mean part now, it's the 10th running of this wonderful series, but due to COVID restrictions, it has been cut back to 1 race only. The drivers invited to contest the JC Caffin Plate this year are David Caffin, Danny Scanlon, Michaela Barnes, Jack Wade, Jess Pryor, Danny Gibson, Bruce O'Brien, Hayden Green, James Sutton, and of course, Jimmy Brown. This event is the only event in the racing industry for Indigenous drivers, and it's pleasing to see that it has marked its 10th year, or will mark its 10th year anniversary this year. All credit must go to the driving force behind it, Michael Brown from Club Menangle, Paul and Casey Ralph from KARI, and also from KARI, Kane Slater. These people do a wonderful work in their communities, and they're doing great work in harness racing to keep this series well and truly going and growing year by year. So congratulations to all those drivers invited to compete in the series this year, and once again we will see another Indigenous driver crowned the Indigenous Driver of the Year in this wonderful event. The foal of the week this week has been submitted by ace photographer Norman Valdez. This great photo of a filly by Sweet Lou from the mare Lucky Elsie, the winner of the Ladyship Mile at Harold Park and over $200,000 in prize money, is owned by Maureen, Michael and Matthew Leary and is at Clarinda Park, Stud Parks. Well, thank you. That is the blog for this week. I wish you all the best of racing luck in the coming week. Not everyone can be a winner, but we can all enjoy our sport. We watched the last of the Breeders' Challenge heats, and of course we'll move into the semi-finals next week. Keep an eye out for other things that Harness Racing New South Wales will announce during the week. They may be changes to the COVID restrictions, pulling down those protocols, but also the news that we will have during the week on the Breeders' Challenge barrier draws and other activities around the Breeders' Challenge. All the best and have a great week.